Hey, Victoria 3 fans, we've got the 1.7 patch and the new Sphere of Influence DLC releasing on Monday, June 24th. When that happens, mods can break, but also mods can be not broken. It all depends. What are we going to look for? What we look for is the change log in the update. That's going to be the biggest area for determining which mods that I have that address certain game features that were broken or whatever. If they've been addressed in the changelog, then I may not need that particular mod anymore. For example, I've got one here for no flu. It just gets rid of that event. Well, if there's a changelog note in 1.7 that says, hey, we fixed it to where the flu actually, there's actually a point to clicking on options on the flu and it will eventually go away, cool. I'll get rid of this and I'll play with flu again because it won't be broken. Things like that. I'm going to read that change log. And so if you're using my mod list, which is on my Discord server, if you're using my mod list, I'm going to update it after 1.7 releases and once I have knowledge that the ones I'm using are stable, and it'll be ready to go, and you'll know that I've done this work. And that if there are fixes, I'll yeet out the mods that I don't need, and if they're not fixes, I'll leave them in there. But I have rearranged my mod list so that way I can work with them in a good order. So ones that deal with the map and performance, I've got those at the top. And I'm hesitant about 1.5 paper map all the way because the map is going to change in 1.7, and that could mean that this one breaks. I hope not, because I really like my paper map all the way. We'll see. But then other ones that are up here towards the top, they may not get broken because they just change some little one file somewhere deep in the game, and if the update doesn't even go into that area, it'll be fine. This is just a mod that hits an area that doesn't get updated. Those are going to work. I then have ones that deal with adding flavor, adding color, and if the map changes enough, they may break. Now, the ones I have, Países Hispanos Mejorados, thank you to a Spanish-speaking subscriber to my channel for pointing this out to me, because otherwise I would have missed it, because I'm reading in English and I'm querying for mods in English, and this one is a really good one for fixing Latin America and just getting the flavor right there. It's some good stuff. I don't expect that one to be broken, but India improvements, ooh, we are changing the map around that area. That might be broken there. And Russia's also getting a rework. I've seen new provinces there, so this Coldwater Ports one might not work in 1.7. It is labeled for 1.6, so we'll see what happens. If they get it fixed, great. And that's one thing I'll be doing. I'll be looking through these mods, just clicking on each one of them there. Like if we go underneath it, I click the dot, dot, dot. It says open in Steam Workshop. I'll be opening each one of these in Steam Workshop to see, does the author of the mod say, yes, I've updated it for 1.7, or it didn't need an update. If the mod author says on the day of, I've looked at it and I've made my attentions to it, that's a good sign to me that this is going to either still work, or the mod author will say that it's not needed, or the mod author will say I've made a fix so it does work. Those are going to be great. There may be mods where the author is in the middle of final exams and needs to focus on life rather than mod, and says give me a few days. If the mod author says that give me a few days, then I may just disable the mod because I want to keep it, but I'll disable it waiting for that update when they say, yeah, I've got it ready to go. And yes, I'll keep the pages open. I'll hit refresh on them until things are ready. And when you see a mod author make a comment, don't pile on a lot of negativity, like why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you fixing it? We need an update. If someone else has already said needs an update, let that one person stand. That's all the alert the mod author needs. One comment that says needs an update. If someone else has said that, be a good person. Don't do that. And don't come in and say, hey, somebody else has already said needs an update. Why are you adding it? Don't add to it. Don't be one of the one that hits reply all to a message saying don't reply all to a message that says, yeah. Anyway, be good. And if the mod author is updating, leave a thanks. Leave a favorite, leave a vote up. Even if it's a mod that you don't use anymore, just hey, thumbs up to the mod creators because they really do a lot of great work. Well, where was I? Oh yeah, so those are ones that deal with the map. Then I've got ones that deal with little tweaks in game mechanics. Again, if it's not mentioned in the changelog for 1.7, I'm not going to worry about it. Now there are ones though that I moved to the bottom, and I'm going to move closer to the bottom here. Here we are. Obliged autonomy, bankroll to subjects, and governance from above. These are ones that I really enjoy, but I think we're going to see changes not just in the 1.7 update, but also in the DLC, which I've already gotten because I bought the big pass. I said, yeah, let me have it all. I'm going to buy it anyway. Might as well buy it in advance because that's just who I am. And so I've already got the DLC coming in, and I believe I will not need these mods with what Sphere of Influence is going to add. So I'm removing those. Same thing also with loyal subjects always accept demands. I kind of like having it as something I could turn on and off in my games when I felt like, I really should be able to just annex these guys outright. Everything's right for it. It shouldn't be where there's a 2% chance they accept and otherwise I go to war. I'm making my own mods in my head there, but I'll have these ones that I turn off and on that if I need them, I will use them. But loyal subjects is probably going to go away after 1.7. Coming back up here, though, these are ones that deal with different aspects of the game. I try to keep them grouped together. Like here's the ones that deal with decrees. These are ones that deal with some interest groups and stuff like that. These are ones that deal with the USA and how it behaves. And I know that there are some other mods that have much more detail with the USA. Whether I use them or not, that's up to me. But I just try to keep things grouped together. Some ones that deal with construction. I've got here we go with culture merging. So ultra historical demography. That I actually enjoy that one because it does help impact the French birth rate, which happened historically. We don't know why, but it did. I like the realistic immigration one. This helps out there. Culture in shackles prevents. It means if you have a slave population being moved around, they're not going to be lacustrine Bantu all around the world. They're going to be like African American, Afro Antillean. It'll merge up with those, so that way it works better in states that are still having slavery. They're not going to suddenly have a plethora of African cultures. They rather, as tends to happen in slave cultures, they tend to melt together to be just Afro something. So it works with that. The high progressive pop merging and the yeet pop fragments. By golly, I really need these guys here. It's just nicer there. And if there's already, but again, I'll read the change log, and if it says we've done something to deal with this, so you have better late game performance, then I may not need that after all. Ones that I have that deal with industry, the power plants, the transport. Power plants really need a lot of work here, but I have that industry realism and political and economic changes, and the industry realism and PEC Compatch. These two mods with the patch are ones that I consider vital to how I play the game. And thankfully, the authors of these mods are active on my Discord, so I'm able to find out from them if they've got it fixed or if it's going to take a little more. I'm able to know that ahead of time. So if you are liking, commenting, and subscribing and joining my Discord, you'll be able to see their messages as well, and you will know what's going on with them. I want to be a big shout out to those mod authors. You do fantastic work. Thank you for what you've done. And these two mods have totally transformed the game. Industry realism means you have just one factory for anything you're making. One factory, that's it. You don't have to decide, are you going to make cars or tanks or I don't know, whatever. You make the one thing, and that's that. Political and economic changes, it is not specific to any one culture. It rather adds the political and economic flavor needed for this time period. Economic booms and busts and central banking, which, given how they've changed some things with 1.7, that author is aware of that and is going to work on it. But also political groups and how they function, and being able to get it to where your landowners and your uh, religious interest groups change over time. Rather than fade completely into irrelevance, they just say, hey, we're no longer going to do this, we're going to do that. And they find a way to become relevant again. And that really is what happens in this time period. It makes it exciting and wonderful. So, yes, I'm watching those guys very closely. Now, I've got the ones that I mentioned that I'm probably not going to need anymore. Upgradable everything. Okay, this is one I will probably keep, but I need to take a oath to not abuse it anymore. It's needed because the AI doesn't upgrade properly. If there's no direct upgrade path, then rather than build dreadnoughts and battleships, it'll just keep ironclads. Uh, it needs to be able to upgrade. If it can't upgrade, rather than build tanks and airplanes, it'll just stick on cavalry and siege artillery. So, but what I have to do with that is no longer just punch it and say, haha, my all my cavalry are now light tanks. Haha. I need to say, all right, I'll stop abusing it. I'm the human. I should do better. I will hereby promise to not just upgrade directly to tanks, but I'll actually build them. I will promise to not upgrade directly to what are they? The scout cruisers and the battleships and dreadnoughts. I'll scrap my old navy and build up a new one. I promise. Although that's a pain in the neck because you gotta delete the old ones and bring up new ones. If you're not gonna just add them anyway. But yeah, so that's the thing there. Then this is another really good mod here, the Great Revision. Also, the mod maker is active on my Discord. This is another one that I'm watching out for. I thought I had some problems with it earlier. It turns out it was actually a different mod, the Automate Trade button, which I really enjoyed it, but because it would automatically create these trade routes, but it was actually introducing a lot more volatility in my product costs and prices and stuff, and that was breaking corporations in my game. And by troubleshooting with the author, I was able to find that that was the problem, and that this mod really does a great job at improving how trade works in the game. So thank you for that one, and I'm also watching closely to see announcements there. And then finally, I've got some other mods that I turn off and on as I need. If I want Texas to survive, I've got Battle of the Alamo. If I need to change my map color, I've got that. Setting private, if this ever becomes an issue, I can fix there. Loyal subjects accepting demands, yeah, it'll probably go away once 1.7 comes out, the DLC. And I like to have a cheat menu. It's disabled, but I like to have it around anyway, just in case I get really frustrated in a game and I'm thinking, no, this should not be happening. The game is wrong. I'm right. As a historian and an economist, I've taught at a high level of these subjects. I should know when the game is wrong and I'm right. I'm playing it solo, so it doesn't matter. And no, I'm not using it to try to paint the world. You've seen how I play. I don't paint. Anyway, enough of that. What'll happen is 1.7 releases, and I start checking my mods to see, are they ready to go? And if they are ready, I'll leave them enabled. If they're not ready, I'll disable them until they are. If they're not needed anymore, I'll remove them. And then once I have all that together, I'll have an updated mod list. Expect that probably, I'm looking at my calendar over here, midweek, usually. If everything is working, if these things work well and the changes that are needed for these mods are small, it could be, Monday, Tuesday, sure. If there's a lot more changes needed, it could be Friday, it could be Saturday. What I'm saying is, like a developer, it'll be ready when it's ready. But once it is ready, I'll have a new mod list and a new video about the mods that I'm using in 1.7. and I'll have that on this channel here. So like, comment, and subscribe, hit the bell, you know the routine, and get on my Discord so you can be active in the community and be able to work with people who are making mods and let them know if it's working for you or if you have an issue, and they'll help give you some guidance there. And I will too, and we have a lot of really helpful people on that Discord server. It's not just me. It's a really good community, and we hope that if you join in, you're able to participate and have a fun time. Anyway, mods, get ready for changes, and we'll see you on the flip side. See you later. Have a nice day. Wait. This is the opposite of not being cut off in the middle of a sentence. I'm just rambling on at the end. Do people really want to see this? Make a comment if you actually saw me rambling. Say, yo, there's a ramble. Bye for now.